Meg 2, The Trench. Hi, it's me again. This movie's on Max, and I saw it, and we're gonna talk about it. It stars Jason Statham, and yes, just a couple days ago, I reviewed The Meg because I saw the timing of when Meg 2 The Trench was hitting Max, and I was like, this is a great way to kick off October, to kick off spooky season here on Mac the Movie Guy. That's what I thought I'd kick off. Man, what a shitty way to start off the season. I totally misjudged this jump start, and I apologize, but I am all set up. I have a review of The Meg that's dropping at the same day as my review of The Meg 2. So it's a Meg day. I actually like the first film. The first film is fine. It's entertaining. It's exactly what you expect it to be. John Turteltaub did a decent job. I don't know who the director of this is. I don't really care. I would more care from like a warning standpoint, like to not ever watch anything he ever directs ever again. This is freakishly terrible. Like on a completely different level. And I'm not one of those critics that just immediately tries to bash everything. I went into this with like, this is gonna be, I just thought it was one of those things, like, critics didn't like the first Meg. The first Meg is fine. It's entertaining. It delivers on its promise. I really just thought this was one of those things where critics didn't like it, but audiences will like it, and so I'll end up liking it because I generally like those films. I'm a huge fan of Deep Blue Sea. I'll say that. Huge fan. Big fan. Love it. Love Deep Blue Sea. But wow. This is, the first film was all about Jason Statham fighting giant sharks. And they were like, how do we follow that up? Well, we need to introduce a bigger and badder villain. So we're going to introduce humans. We're going to have Jason Statham fight mercenaries and a mining company that is drilling at the bottom of the ocean. Because that's what this fucking movie is about. Just in case you didn't know, that's what this movie is about. There's a mining company. There's a character called Jess that is played by one of the actresses who I would put on the list of I do not need to hear or see from her ever again. Every line she delivered was painful. I literally was just like, oh my Jesus. I didn't believe her at all as somebody who would be running a mining company. She was always, every line she came into a room, she was like, and this is how everything is, and this is what I want things cleared out. We have to clear things out, and we have to get in there and do things. And her line delivery was so atrocious. I was like, who are you? Like, I'm all about strong, powerful women in films, but not you. Not this one. This woman is obnoxious. And maybe that's for like a reason, because we're not supposed to like the mining company people. That doesn't mean that they need to be uncharacteristically stupid, which they all are. There's a guy in one scene on a boat. He knows there's a Meg in the ocean, but he's out there chasing Jason Statham. And it's like all of his friends are being eaten, and he's like, fuck this Meg. I'm gonna get Jason Statham if it kills me. Guess what, dude? It probably is going to. You're in a film called Meg 2, The Trench, and you're a bad guy in it. Guess what's probably gonna happen to me? This is one of the dumbest films I think I've seen in a long time. It also feels like Warner Brothers looked at this film and they were like, wait a minute. I know what we can do with this film. You know what franchise we don't have? Jurassic Park. You know what film we can make? Jurassic Park. There's fucking dinosaurs in here. I'm not really sure why there are dinosaurs in here. The film doesn't really give a great justification for it. And if you think that's a spoiler, I will tell you that the first scene in the movie are dinosaurs. Like, the film opens on dinosaurs. They're like instantaneously, there's like a crocodile-ish dinosaur, and then like more dinosaurs, and then like a T-Rex that comes in, and you're just like, where are we? I thought we were in the ocean. I thought we were with ocean sharks, giant sharks. Why is there a T-Rex in this film? Like, I was so confused. I was just like, what are we doing? This is the Meg? I figured I was going to get some backstory on this Meg that's been alive, I guess, since the Jurassic period? But no, there are dinosaurs. There's a place in here. They're trying to make Jurassic Park. There's a place in here called Fun Island. And if that doesn't sound like a place that in the Meg 3 that they're going to have dinosaurs roaming around, then I don't know what else does. Fun Island totally feels like a place that's going to come back for their inevitable third film, so that they can have like a Jurassic Park film, because that's exactly what this film feels like. This film has so many scenes that are exactly like Jurassic Park. There's a scene where somebody is in one of those cars. They're in a Jeep or whatever, and they hop out for a second to go get something to, they're like, their friends are missing, and they go out and they pick up a gun off the ground, and they go back in, and oh my god, there's a dinosaur inside of the car, just like fucking Dennis Nedry had in Jurassic Park. It's just like, when that scene happened, I was just like, is this really happening? Did we really just rip off Jurassic Park? Is this scene... There's a difference between paying homage to Jurassic Park and just being like, I hope people are cool with this. I don't know if you're intelligent enough for this to work. I don't know that this film works the way that it wants to by ripping off Jurassic Park. It is hardcore. There's even a part of the story, this film is stupid. There's so many things. I could talk about this film for like longer than the runtime of this film, about how much I dislike it and how dumb the plot points are. So, Li Bingbing, who was in the first film, was originally attached to star in this film, and her deal fell apart. So what did they do? They killed her off. She is dead. They kill her off in like the weirdest fucking way possible and leave her daughter in the film. So her daughter is in the film being raised by Jason Statham and a new character they introduce who is supposedly Li Bingbing's character's brother. So they could keep May in the film. So they fought to keep the little child from the first film in the sequel. She's now a little bit older and can function. Time has passed. So she's like 14, maybe 15, somewhere around in there. She's at like a little bit better of a functioning age. But for some dumbass reason, she's still out in the ocean. She's still in a place where they know Megs are. Like, Jason Statham is still a terrible parent. But yeah, he's now raising her kid. And it's just, you're like, what is this subplot? I don't understand. I've got nothing here. This is the weirdest relationship. It's like Jason Statham and this, his Asian brother-in-law, I guess, even though the film doesn't really talk about their marriage. It doesn't even really tell you how she died. She's just dead. There's just like cursory references to the fact that the mom has passed. Rest in peace. That's what happens when you don't come back for a sequel. They're just like, you know what? We're going to kill you off. The odd thing is, other characters didn't come back. They didn't get killed off. So, what in the ever-loving hell? What? So, yeah, this is a film. This is a film. This is a film where people walk down on the bottom of the ocean. Yes, a lot of people get eaten by Megs. They're trying to train a Meg. I don't really know why. There's a project and they're trying to, and Jason Statham's brother-in-law, I forgot it's not really relevant. Nobody cares if these people are named. He's trying to like talk to a Meg, and he's come up with patterns. So he's like, so there's one of them that has a name. So like in the audio description as the movie comes along, there's one of them that has a name. So it's like Blue from Jurassic World, because why not? So they have a trained Meg to go along with them. I feel like I'm telling you this film and you're sitting there and you're like, this can't be the film. And it's like, this is the film. This is what this film is about. This is what this film does. They did bring back some original characters other than Jason Statham. Cliff Curtis is back, and the black guy that couldn't swim in the first film but took a job out in the middle of the ocean, he's back, and he's here to make sure that we know he knows how to swim now. He learned his lesson. He's like, I took swimming lessons, and I was like, I can't. I want to with this film. I really wanted to like this film. I came into this fully. My review of the Meg. I know you're in this video, but if you didn't watch my review of Meg, it's a positive review. It's something that I would have put fresh on Rotten Tomatoes if I was a Rotten Tomatoes critic. I swear to God, I do like this franchise. I like Jason Statham. I think he's entertaining. I love him as an actor. This is such a hot mess of a film. There's like so many different ideas at work here, and none of them, it's just a clusterfuck of ideas. And the film feels like it's moving through all of them really slowly. So it takes so long to get to anything that's interesting, but then the film completely is tonally shifting every time it does it. So for some reason, we're out at sea again. These people who had this terrible experience with Megs in the first film, they're back out there, and there are more Megs. And they're just like, well, this facility is safer than the last one that we built, so we'll be fine. And then they find out about the miners at the bottom of the ocean, and then there's walking along the bottom of the trench, and they're talking about, how they have to walk from one place to another, and they're worried about the air in their suits, and of course being eaten. So there's, I don't know, Cthulhu is in this, or think the Kraken. There's some weird giant squid monster in this too, because why not? I mean, honestly, why not at this point? The film doesn't really need to explain why or where this thing comes from. It is just like it doesn't really need to explain why there are dinosaurs on Fun Island, and why there are all these visitors on Fun Island and they don't know about the dinosaurs. They're just like, they're just chilling on the beach. It's Fun Island. It's supposed to be fun. They don't know. And then there's suddenly these giant, angry lizards start attacking them. So, it's such a hodgepodge. It also has really just awful line delivery. Like, there are those moments where somebody drops a line and it's basically like telegraphing, I'm about to die. Like when a character is standing somewhere and they're like, I'm safe. Nothing can get me here. And you're like, okay. Rest in peace. Something's obviously about to... Oh, yep, something got you there. Yeah, it has plenty of those moments. It also has like moments that like defy reasoning and logic. Just baffling moments of baffling stupidity. I'm pretty certain, like, Jason Statham, like, roundhouse kicks somebody into the mouth of a Meg, which sounds really cool. It also sounds really stupid. It's both. like, oh shit, he's fighting somebody, and he just roundhouse kicks somebody, and the Meg happens to be there. And opens his mouth at the exact same time Jason Statham kicks somebody into the mouth of the Meg. And, and I don't know what to tell you guys. This film, I heard bad things, but I really just thought it was one of those things because movie critics, listen, I don't like them either. There's so many movie critics out there, and they're on the internet, and they don't even know whether or not they're relevant anymore. I was watching an interview from a movie critic that was talking about what's the difference between, like, movie critics and internet trolls, and he immediately, like, launches into his degree, and he's like, well, you know, I actually went to school to study film, and that, I was like, if that's what sets you apart, I got the same degree, bro. I'm sorry. It's just, I didn't get hired by a publication. There's a whole bunch of us that have film degrees, and we have our own platforms. So if you think that degree separates you and elevates you and gives you the ability to you know, tell whether or not a movie sucks, then so does everyone else who has a film degree. Yeah. But I frequently see critics just not liking films like this because they don't seem like, it's not elevated, you know? This isn't caviar. Of course it's not caviar. I didn't go to the first Meg thinking it was caviar. But the thing that I learned while rewatching the first Meg was I didn't even remember those characters. This film introduces so many characters I'll never remember. There'll be a Meg 3, and if they try to return some of these characters, I'm gonna be like, I don't know who these people are. It took me a while to even realize that some of these characters were returning. I thought Cliff Curtis came back with a much stronger Australian accent. I just watched the Meg a couple days ago, and I feel like he was not this Australian. And his accent is so thick. I was like, was his accent that thick in the first film? Or did he just not have enough lines for me to pick up on it? So, I don't know. But I don't have high hopes for Meg 3, especially if they let this guy direct again. If anybody lets this guy direct again, this guy needs to go direct for, you know, he needs to be directing things like Shark Side of the Moon on Tubi for the Asylum. That's where this guy needs to go. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm not gonna say there's nothing to see. There's a lot to see here. There's probably too much. This film is all over the place. It doesn't really know what it wants to be. It's got mining villains. It's got human villains. It's got human villains who send mercenaries. It's got, you know, scenes where they're trying to, like, threaten people, and they've got them trapped in a situation. They're like, if you shoot Jonas, I'll let you go. And it's like, there are giant sharks swimming in the ocean. Why? Why do I need this subplot? Why do I need evil miners? Oh, God, it is so frustrating. This film is so frustrating. It thinks it saw the Jurassic Park movies, and it thinks it knows how to make a sequel based on, I don't know, The Lost World or something. I don't really know what this is trying to do. Clearly, Warner Brothers wants to have their own Jurassic franchise because there's no reason for dinosaurs to be in this film. None. But they are. So, it's not been a great year for Jason Statham. I hear The Expendables is not very good. I will go into that with an open mind. I promise you. I actually somewhat enjoyed the first three. I don't think any of them are brilliant, but they're fine, you know? So I'm not expecting brilliance from Expendables 4, I'm just expecting to be entertained. Uh, I wasn't even really entertained by this. This film was just, this film had so many questionable character choices, like, all the time. And just things that didn't make any sense. Audio description here is seemingly fine. I didn't really have a problem with it. It finds little ways of describing different things, like there's a Meg that is horribly scarred. Like the differences between the Megs, they're different characters, because there's multiple Megs in this, just like there was in the last film. So of course we have to know which one is the good one. Where's Blue, and the difference between that and then the other ones. So, yeah, it's just such a hodgepodge of ideas thrown together. I'm surprised the narration is as good as it is. I have heard, I will say, I know I'm a blind film critic and I'm not supposed to comment on things like this. I have heard that this film has a lot of problems with not looking great down at the bottom of the ocean. A lot of those scenes, they look really cheap and shitty because they have these people walking across the bottom of the ocean in spacesuits, and you don't even really know who is in what, and it's hard to tell in that sequence. Luckily, that sequence does not last for very long. It's not like the predominant majority of the film. This film has little concepts and ideas, but pretty much has to work through all of them as quickly as possible because they want to try to get through as much as possible. Even though the film feels incredibly slow at the beginning, the only reason it feels incredibly slow is because they're fighting humans. And you're like, I didn't show up for this. This is not why I bought a ticket to this damn movie, was to see Jason Statham fighting humans. If I wanted to see that, I can watch him in the Fast and Furious franchise. I can watch him in the Expendables franchise. I can watch the Transporter franchise. I want to see him fight sharks. I don't want to see him fight mercenaries. So, yeah, it kind of buries the lead, and then the lead shows up, and then it kind of goes away again, and there's like more mercenaries. I don't know. I wanted to like this. I really did. I know that's really hard for you to believe, but I went into this with the best of intentions. I even bothered to rewatch the first film so that I could get a fresh take and come into this film. But oh my god, this is one of those sequels, guys. This is one of those ones that we did not need. Nobody needed to make this. If this was the sequel that was being pitched, everybody should have walked away and said, no, this should be a sequel that doesn't even have Jason Statham in it. This should be a sequel that has, I don't know, someone else. Just some unnamed guy that was in something that one time that we're all like, hey, it's him. And now he's starring in the Meg 2. It should have that kind of warning, that kind of vibe to it, where none of the original cast returned and they were replaced all by actors who we've never heard of or seen of before, except for maybe they appeared on like a television series once. That's what this film is written for. It's not written for Jason Statham. I don't know why he keeps saying he must have gotten a payday. There's no reason for him to be here. So, I would say don't watch this, but you're probably going to. It's one of those, like, is it so bad it's good? Maybe? I don't know. I have to get over the initial shock of how shitty this film is to be able to even turn around and appreciate it. Because I'm still kind of just baffled by it. Like, it just cohesively, the fact that this script, like, was read by people and they were like, yes, this totally feels like the film that we should be making. Let's go forward with this. This makes sense. The fact that people made those kind of choices, I heard once, there's a film critic that I'm a fan of that was talking about how, they don't like to do grades, and they don't like to do bad films because no one sets out to make a bad film. Everybody works really hard on set to try to deliver. I would challenge that. Somebody along the way must have read this script and said to themselves, is this the best we can actually deliver? Does this script make sense? Is this the best sequel to The Meg? Because if everyone in that room thought to themselves that they were making a great movie, then maybe these people should not be allowed to be in positions where they can make those kind of judgment calls. You know? Just a thought. Just a little thought on that. Maybe they didn't set out to make a bad film. However, there's really no way of looking at this and being like, yes, this film is excellent. Even if you're there just for the carnage scene at the end. Like, even if you're there for, like, the climax moments. The climax moments are so bizarre. Because it just, like, the film is, it's unearned. The film just kind of happens. And you're at, like, Fun Island. And you're like, why are there dinosaurs here? Like, where did this squid come from? When did they release the Kraken? You know, it's very, very just random. It's like they felt like if we just throw everything at the audience, they'll be too stupid to notice. I noticed. I'm going to give The Meg 2, The Trench, a D. Really just because of Jason Statham. I would say that's what's keeping it above an F, is Jason Statham. He's here to do a pretty typical Jason Statham performance. He didn't let me down. He's just in a shitty movie that I wish he had said no to. I also didn't hate the other returning characters. I don't know why they're here, but I didn't hate them. I think I really... Now I want to rewatch The Meg again to see whether or not Cliff Curtis had that thick of an accent the first time around. But other than that, I didn't really hate... It's so hard because I don't really care about them. This one doesn't make you care about characters. It's basically just, there's Jason Statham, and then there's everyone else. And there's sharks. And now dinosaurs. And a giant squid. And a trained Meg. And I can't wait to see what The Meg 3, even after all of this, I gotta tell you, I would watch a Meg 3 just because this movie and this director and this writer have made this series such a massive clusterfuck that I cannot wait to see what they do from here in terms of, do they rein it in or do they double down? Like, are we going to get sharks walking on... Is this going to turn into Sharknado? Like, are we getting sharks that walk on water next? Like, what are we doing? Where is this franchise headed? Because I feel like they already used the kitchen sink. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's already in the film. So what's next? Where do you go from here? Aliens? You know, the Megs, actually, they're not from this planet. They were put here by aliens, and the aliens have come back for them in The Meg 3, where Jason Statham has to roundhouse kick an alien out of a spacecraft and into the ocean, where the alien will be caught mid-air and eaten by a Meg. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please click that subscribe button. I hope this was entertaining for you. I'm so disappointed that this is... I know I shouldn't have had high expectations. I know you're like, God... I know you're like, dude, didn't you know this wasn't going to be good? And I was like, no, I didn't, because I disagree with critics a lot. A lot of times I'm just like, that was fun. That was entertaining. I don't know why critics didn't like that. Or I'm bored to tears by something that critics are like, yes, this is brilliant. And I'm like, this is slow as hell. So I don't usually use critics as a barometer for whether or not I'm going to like or not like something. But damn, this one actually does deserve all of the hate that it's been getting. So click that subscribe button. I have a website, MacMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on X, Insta, or Threads at MacMovieGuy. You can go to the Audio Description Project, adp.acb.org. It lets you know what is audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it. I watched it. It's done. And I will see you guys on the other side.